That they give birth on land and they bury their eggs, and then they go back to the ocean, and when their babies hatch, they have to survive on their own and find their way back to the ocean.
Okay, I really don't know that much about sea turtles, but what I do know is that when we've been to Hawaii on vacation before and we go snorkeling, we've snorkeled with them a few times, and I totally love seeing them in the water. So we know that they're protected and you're not supposed to touch them.
I know about sea turtles from the movie Finding Nemo, and he's really cool and he goes, "What up, bruh?" So they're kind of like circles.
I know that they're a form of turtle. They're in Finding Nemo. They're extinct, and their babies are really cute.
Pollution affects them because if there's oil spill in the ocean, it will affect the way they swim.
Well, it can't be good because they're living in the water all the time, and so if the water's dirty, they're kind of ingesting that. And I know that, actually I do know that they eat coral, and so if the coral's dead, or if the water's dirty so that the coral dies, then they won't have anything to eat. So I can't think it's very good.
If they are like letting bags float around and stuff, they might be like, "What up, bro?" and accidentally like eat one and then they die. That's how pollution affects.
It allows them to die and become extinct, and it's not good for them.
Marine creatures all over the world are suffering due to human involvement and manipulation of the environment. We are going to focus on sea turtles and how they are being affected by humans through overdevelopment of nesting areas, poaching, pollution, and cancer tumors. Pollution can involve a wide variety of things. It includes plastic bags, chemicals, and waste that are dumped into the ocean. When pollution comes in contact with the sea turtle, it can build up in their tissue and cause either disease or death. When a sea turtle eats a plastic bag, it makes their brains believe that their stomach is full so that they will not eat the nutrients that they need. Plastic bottle holders can wrap around their necks, constricting their oxygen flow, causing suffocation. Plastic bottle holders can also change the shape of a turtle's shell. Turtles are vulnerable to oil spills in all stages of life. Oil spills can get into the eyes, on their shells, and they get adjusted in their lungs when they come up to the surface to breathe. Oil spills can weaken a turtle's overall health. For example, when turtles ingest oil, their digestive tract and organs are greatly infected. Oil spills can destroy their living habitats in the water. Turtles' food sources such as kelpids or fish can be contaminated or just die off because they have been infected by oil spills. This picture is an example of a sea turtle that swam through an oil spill and has little chance of living because its body is now oiled. Female sea turtles will not return to the same beach as they were hatched if the beach is considered to be very oily. This is one cause of why nesting sites are so hard to find. Most beaches have washed up oil spills from shore, which causes many problems during the nesting season. Oil prevents the flow of oxygen to reach the sand to get to the eggs, which changes the nesting temperature or gender of the turtle. If eggs are exposed to fresh oil when nesting time has almost come to an end, the eggs will either have no chance of survival. However, if they do hatch, they will be deformed. Another huge effect on turtles is something known as fibropapilloma tumors. These tumors are known for being a virus or can be cancerous. Tumors were first seen in the 1930s on the green turtle, but today they are seen on all 7 species of the sea turtle. You can recognize these tumors by the location, size, texture, and color. Tumors look like cauliflower, or could be warty-like with many folds. The colors of these tumors can range from pink, purple, or dark gray-black. Tumors grow on the softer skin tissue or around the neck, but can be found on flippers, around the eye, or on the internal organs, or even scutes and scales. These tumors can range from the size of a pea to the size of a softball, and they can also be seen formed in clumps. Barnacles or leech eggs often cover or grow on the tumors. The lowest amount of tumors a turtle can have on their body is 70, but the highest can range pretty high. tumors can cause three things. It can cause blindness to the turtle where its visions can be completely obscure. Starvation meaning it can have a hard time breathing or eating if it can't open its mouth. Lastly, other animals can attack it easier because they will swim slower, can't escape as easily, and can be hit by a boat. Death is also another possible outcome of these tumors.
Sea turtles are some of the only marine organisms that only nest on the same beaches that they were born on. They travel thousands of miles around the world, but somehow they all find their way back to their first beach and rarely go on land for any other occasion. The process itself is risky. Eggs are laid under the sand, and the mother leaves them there to eventually hatch on their own. However, if there are no beaches left, sea turtles will have nowhere to nest, which will lead to extinction. Overdevelopment of beach areas has caused millions of baby sea turtles to not be hatched and be enveloped into their mother's bodies. Yes, there are hundreds of beaches around the world that are available for nesting, but sea turtles do not understand that fact. It is built into their mental framework to nest where they were born. Human conservation groups have tried to instill laws to protect nesting areas on beaches and keep them from being affected by human involvement. Certain beaches cannot be built upon the United States, and any area filled with eggs is roped off. Although these attempts are steps in the right direction, they just aren't enough. Poachers attack turtle eggs and hatchlings, resulting in the sharp decline of hatchling survival rates. Predators like birds and crabs attack the hatchlings as they run into the ocean, causing them to have a horribly slow survival rate. Now humans, along with animals, are stealing hatchlings from sea turtle nests. Eggs are very valuable to the poaching industry as they serve as sources for turtle meat and shells, which can be seen as a delicacy in southeastern countries. Because it is such a large industry, many people's livelihoods are subject to poaching these eggs, along with being countries' main food source. Poaching for carapace is mainly the most popular, as hawksbill turtle shells are mostly in demand. Sea turtles are caught in the hundreds. Their shells are turned into combs, accessories, and decorations, while the turtles themselves are used for meat. Over the years, awareness has spread about the sea turtle's endangered state, thus causing most countries to outlaw poaching. However, the industry still thrives as whole populations depend on it for sustenance and employment. While poaching and overdevelopment benefits humanity, it severely affects the ecosystem. If humanity does not continue to find ways to protect sea turtles, their endangered status will lead to extinction. Ecosystems need sea turtles to be a prime predator, or else the lower species on the food chain will overpopulate the oceans. Kelp and the coral populations will be wiped out as sea turtle prey populations will grow exponentially. A rapid decline of marine life will ensue as the main foundation of the ecosystem will lose its ability to replenish itself. Total extinction of species will result in an upset of the ecosystem, causing chaos and ruin for the world as countries depending on certain marine organisms for food and industry will fall. Southeastern countries will starve, and the world will lose its main producer of shellfish, causing economic problems. Resolutions for this worldwide problem are abundant, but the only obstacle is enforcing them. Regulations have been made in the UN about sea turtle poaching, but companies and corporations relying on it have found ways to continue to smuggle. Housing and marketing developmental companies also are resisting any offense to overdevelopment. Possible worldwide success can only be achieved if the people of the world become inspired and passionate about conserving sea turtles, and the only way to reach that is to spread awareness.
Now that you know all of this, what are you going to do to try to help sea turtles? I won't pollute our oceans.